I'm Dr. Lori, and this is What's It Worth with Dr. Lori, and I'm here with Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good. Where are you from?
Mount Joy,
Mount Joy, not too far.
No.
Right. Tell me a little bit about this book. Was it hard to get this book?
It was hard to get this book.
How hard was it to get this book, Mike?
I would travel a lot on my job.
Okay, what's your job?
It was, when I'm retired now, but I was real estate.
Did you forget?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. When you're retired, you're supposed to forget.
That's right.
Right? You're supposed to be like, I don't do anything now. I do whatever I want.
I was a portfolio manager that specialized in real estate, so I traveled around the country.
Okay.
And in my spare time, I would go to used bookstores. This was before eBay and
Sure.
such things.
Yeah. The 80s, 90s,
Yes.
2000. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I had started a collection because I read a lot of picture books with my daughter, and
When she was a child.
when she was a child, pre-school.
Favorites?
She didn't have any favorites. She
Really?
liked them all.
Good Night Moon. Remember Good Night Moon, right? Or
Yeah.
the, well, of course, Dr. Seuss. Did
Yes,
you have a
she
favorite?
liked those. She liked those.
My sister Carla and my sister Carla is an English professor, and she, in fact, would always she teaches children's literature now, and she would always Make Way for Ducklings.
My favorites would probably have been the Dr. Seuss, because they were easy to read with a rhyme that she enjoyed.
She enjoyed that.
Yes.
How old is your daughter now?
31.
Fun. How fun.
2.
So you come up with this, I'm going to collect, well, you like books, so you're in bookstores, and you decide to amass a collection in honor of your daughter of children's literature?
I wanted it to be specifically picture books.
Oh, okay.
And since there were so many, I narrowed it down to picture books that won certain awards.
Okay.
Initially, it was Caldecott Award.
So the Caldecott Award, of course, is the very prestigious award or prize that is given for children's literature. So for the illustration, or of course, the authors of children's literature. This is Time of Wonder by Robert McCloskey's, very well known for Make Way for Ducklings, but this is, of course, a Viking piece, and a piece which is, again, signed for us. So I'm going to take a look through and just show you this particular book. And if you'll hold that side so we can have a little support for the spine, that would be great. So basically what you're seeing here is you're seeing, of course, the end papers. And then as we go through with my gloves, you can see that it was signed to, is it for Elise?
Yes, that's my granddaughter's.
That's your granddaughter, okay. And then here you can see, again, Robert McCloskey, the author and winner of the Caldecott Prize. So autographs are going to factor into this as well. So let's talk a little bit about Time of Wonder, and I'll show you some of the illustrations as we go through lithography done. So you acquired it how long ago?
Oh my. 20 years maybe?
Okay, so about 20 years ago. And how did you acquire it? Did you just find it in a bookstore? It's specific to your granddaughter, so you must have had some relation with or some connection with the author.
Well, it was in a used bookstore.
Okay.
But as I came across the Caldecott winners, I not only specialized in just the Caldecott, but it had to be first edition, first printing.
Okay, so
with a dust jacket.
So this you believe is a first edition, first printing. I don't see a dust jacket.
No.
Where is it?
The Caldecotts have been around since the 30s. So the older ones, which this is one,
This is 1957.
are harder to get.
Okay.
So if I came across one, I would get it anyways until
Dust jacket or not?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying, hey, I've got an opportunity here. I'm not going to be nitpicky.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the next step was that I would try to find the illustrator, send the book to them to sign.
Okay, so now you're sending off this piece to the illustrator, hoping that everything goes well and that you get it back.
Correct.
Well, that's a big risk. I would tell you never to do that. I think that's stupid. Oh my gosh, Dr. Lori, I know it's harsh, but Mike, you took a big risk letting that collectible out of your sight.
Dozens of times.
Dozens of times.
Yes.
So, anything can get lost, in shipping and this and that at their place, whatever it might be. So I would say not a good idea. So you were lucky. They all came back?
All but one.
All but one. Okay. Which one did you lose?
It wasn't a Caldecott one.
Are you still looking for it? Are you still saying,
No, it was too long ago.
Okay.
And it was out of the country.
Okay. All right. So this particular piece, a couple things you want to look for with any of them. First of all, a decorated book. So what I mean by that is this particular cover is decorated beautifully as well. I want you to always look, no matter what the book is, at a strong spine. So look for a strong spine. Make sure that there is not an odor in the book, so that it hasn't been kept somewhere damp. That's also one. Best way to do that, take a sniff, smell it, see how that actually is. Now you have a couple of areas of what we would call inclusions, minor damage, but you have a very strong and personal autograph.
Correct.
Autographs will increase value. First of all, you have a first edition. We always want first editions. Most people know that you always want first editions. Recognizing that it's a first edition can even be difficult for the author. And that's what was relatively interesting about this, because what Mike has here in the back is this sheet, which actually is from Robert McCloskey, and it actually says here, "Dear Elise, I would like to thank you. I would think that you are very fortunate as a young lady who has a father who is going through the efforts of finding first edition Caldecott Award winning books for you. Not only does your dad love you, but he loves reading. And I think that this copy of Time of Wonder is a first edition, like your father thinks." Well, this is interesting that you think so and he's not really sure, but basically what I see here, having evaluated 20,000 objects a year for the last 20 years, every year about that rate, this particular piece is indeed the first edition. Unfortunately, you don't have the dust jacket, but again, you do have the first edition. It has some foxing, which is this. You can see these small little dots here. Some foxing, it's very minor and very common, but the book is really in very good condition overall. This autograph, as well as the note and the autograph inside, are all going to increase value significantly. But what's most significant about it is what all of you know. What's most significant about it is the fact that it is a first edition Caldecott winning publication. Value on your book, anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000. I would probably put it around $3,000 for as long as this piece goes with it, and of course because it stays in your family. Something called provenance, from the French to prove it, that idea that you are actually seeing this piece and keeping this piece in the family. I would rather if it didn't say that it was for a lease.
Understood.
I would rather, but again, you're creating a collection for a particular purpose and for a particular person.
Yes.
So again, you want that, and you probably, did you ask him how to autograph it, or did he just decide?
No, I never did.
You just
ask.
said, autograph it if you would.
Yes.
Okay. Oftentimes it is best for value if you have, in fact, the autograph at the time of the publication. But again, you'd have to go back to 1957 and be sitting in a bookstore with the artist,
Yes.
with the author. That's the best way to do it. They're really beautiful. It's wonderful. How big is your collection?
Probably about 80.
80.
But I've since included a couple other awards, Coretta Scott King and Society of Illustrators.
Okay, so other awards that go with it. Well, the Caldecott, of course, is the top prize, and it's really a wonderful example. Thanks for bringing it in. We've been talking about our appraisal table as well, and our appraisal table, which has an Egyptian motif. I want to focus on, of course, something that might have been added on later to this particular table. If you look at the back here, you can see this mirror element at the back of the table. You'll notice, of course, the legs, and you'll notice, of course, these recessed legs. But in the back, there actually is not only a semicircular element to the table, but in the back there are those applied mirrors. Those mirrors are a later addition, a marriage, if you will, a later addition to the table. They were added in the 1940s, possibly to cover up areas of damage to the table. Oftentimes these tables are in fact utilized to have something underneath them, storage, and sometimes that back panel, this back panel gets scratched. In the 1940s, it was very popular to inset mirrors onto tables, whether they were coffee tables or, of course, demi-line tables like this. Well, thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it. And thanks for watching What's It Worth with Dr. Lori. We'll see you next time.